The Warriors just dodged a major bullet. We need to sign Quinten Post, a 7-footer or somebody we don't have on this team. Well, the Warriors brought in Bruno Caboclo, and they were trying him out. He had a great Olympics for Brazil. I get that. Performed well in front of Steve Kerr when Brazil played the U.S. He had around 30 points that game. Came in for a week of practice. Well, if they sign him to a two-way contract, a training camp contract, that's one less spot for Quinten Post, who's still, again, a second-round draftee unsigned. And it could mean it's not going well in negotiations or what we're trying to do. Maybe trade a player to make a spot for Post. Well, we got some good news that Post is the man that they want. I'm going to tell you why and break it down for you on this episode of Warriors Digest. Randy Silver here. Thank you for being with us. If you're a first-time watcher, long-time viewer, we've crossed the 6,000 viewer mark, 6,000 subscriber mark. Thank you so much for helping us hit 6,000. Next goal, 7,000, 8,000, 10,000. And training camp is coming up. News is coming fast, or it's going to start coming fast. So Bruno, the Brazilian, signed with an Israeli team. New signing. Congratulations to him. He paralleled his amazing performance in the Olympics to now signing with an Israeli team. I was reading about the contract. He has a clause in there that allows him to leave in the winter, so around the NBA trade deadline, if there's interest in getting him over to the United States. As I mentioned, he practiced with the Warriors a couple times. I reported that on here as well. Hey, what's happening? They're trying to sign with the Warriors. Well, it did not work out. Warriors did not offer him more than what was reported, a training camp contract. Again, he worked out with the Warriors. They were hopeful that something would work out, and it didn't. The Warriors dodged a bullet because Quinten Post is more valuable to his team than Bruno Caboclo. We have similar players, Trayce Jackson-Davis, Kevon Looney as Bruno. He's 6'9". Quinten Post is a 7-footer who can shoot from three. He needs to be around and on this main roster. If you were to cut Pat Spencer, Beekman, Santos, make space for Bruno, then Quinten Post becomes an odd man out at that point, because how are we going to get him on this roster? So by them not offering Bruno a contract, even if he was practicing with them a couple days, that happens more than you think. Players come in, they test them out. This shows the intent the Warriors have for Quinten Post. Bruno, he's not doing bad though. He got himself a professional contract in a different country. But you look at the roster that we have right now, we have one open spot, that 15th spot. We cannot sign Quinten Post because he's a second-round draft pick. The money that he's owed as a second-round draft pick is around $1 million. We only have, if you look at that first little rectangle, total salary $177, cap space minus $37 million. Yes, we're over the cap. But look at the actual first apron space we have, $533,000 for 24-25. So he's not eligible to be signed, meaning you either have to waive a two-way player or a regular player. Who would be on the chopping block? Pat Spencer. He had a great summer, was with us last year. Reese Beekman was our undrafted rookie out of Virginia. A dog on defense, better offensively than people say. Daquan Plowden, who we just signed from Summer League, who balled. They're not going to cut him after that. Guy Santos, Bruno's teammate with Brazil. Is he going to be gone? We haven't heard a lot about him. They traded for Lindy Waters, three-point specialist. Other than that, someone else is going to be going. I think it's one of those. I either think it's going to be Pat Spencer or Santos. So for Bruno, if he wanted to be playing a lot, there's no space here, meaning he would have had to been a two-way player. We still have 2 training camp spots open. You're thinking of trying to bring in maybe veterans to see what they can do on the team, but it's not probably a spot that Bruno wanted. He wants to be able to play. And you go to Israel, probably going to be a starter. Here is not guaranteed. And what I'm hearing, the Warriors did not offer him anything more than potentially a training camp spot. So what about Quinten Post? He's one of 4 players who are still unsigned from this past draft. Yes, unsigned. Out of the 52 players, he's one of 4. First round pick signed using the rookie scale, 30. second round pick signed using the second round pick exception, 13. Second round pick signed two-way contracts, 10. Second round pick signed using cap room, 1. So 4 players left unsigned. 2 second round picks, Juan Nunez, number 36. Melvin Ajinka, 51st, will continue the professional careers in Europe. Their draft rights are controlled by the Spurs and Mavs, respectively. So what does that mean? That means if and when, or maybe more of an if than when, they come to the United States to play, they will be going to the Spurs and the Mavs. They control them in Europe. So if they ever come to the U.S., that's where they'll go. So basically, hey, we see these people as potential. Maybe they're not ready to come right now. Give them a year or two in Europe to continue to develop. And then when they come to the United States, they'll be on our team. So that leaves 2 players from the 2024 draft class yet to sign with NBA team. Hawks guard Nikola Jurisic, and then, of course, Warriors Quinten Post. For the Hawks plans, again, NBA content here, giving you insight to what happens around the NBA, not just Warriors here. Hawks plans for Jurisic is unclear. The 20-year-old sustained a foot injury during Summer League. Required surgery. He's supposed to be out till at least November. Atlanta themselves has 15 players signed to guaranteed standard contracts. All 3 of the team's two-way spots are currently filled. So it's possible the Hawks could waive 1 or 2 players to create room, kind of what the Warriors need to do. But he could also go play somewhere else in North America or overseas until next year. So we'll keep you updated, I guess, because then if he signs, then that means Post is the last person. And then for Post, HoopsHype believes Pat Spencer is going to be the gentleman who is going to miss out, giving Quinten Post a 2-way contract for the Dutch big man. If the Warriors make a multi-player trade, a standard deal for the 24-year-old is another possibility, but nothing appears intimate on that front. So again, let's go back to here. A multi-player trade. So again, if you just do a like-for-like trade, the Warriors still won't have enough cap space. So the Warriors would need to trade away 2 players to make room for Post to create enough cap space. So you've seen something for Levine, Brandon Ingram, Jonas Valanciunas, different players. I don't think any of that's intimate. So it seems like, hey, it's going to have to be cutting a player we have right now. So this is the story arc. We dodged a bullet. Quinten Post, I think, is a better player than Bruno for this offense, for this defense, for this team. Bruno is 6'9", a little bit of a brute force, but we have that in Trayce Jackson-Davis, Kevon Looney. We don't have a 7-footer who can stretch the floor. This is everything that the Warriors offense needs. This is something that the team wants. This is something that the fans want. So Quinten Post is the player we need to get on this roster. If you're going to lose somebody, I'd hate to lose Pat Spencer. He's a great glue guy. I mean, a former NCAA lacrosse player, what he's done in basketball, just a stud athlete, controls the game at his speed, not the other way around. Or it's Santos, which is a bit of a, I mean, he did decent with Brazil. I would say actually, honestly, better than decent. He was averaging the most minutes per game for Brazil and was a big part of that team. But he hasn't had a lot of playing time under Steve Kerr. And I think having that ability for Post to be on the main roster and learn from somebody like Draymond, learn from somebody like Looney, learn from somebody last year, the rookie, Trayce Jackson-Davis, on a daily basis, it's big. Then he'll be up there with Jerry Stackhouse, our player development defensive coach, Steve Kerr, Terry Stotts. Now, if he's on a 2-way player, again, Santa Cruz Warriors team is not bad whatsoever. Usually some of the best in the G League, and we've seen how well players have done from coming from there and coming up. Jordan Poole is one of them. You know, at one point Moody was going up and down a bit. So, not terrible, but I think he's an NBA player, or at least on the back half of an NBA roster, and just learning from practice day and day, getting in there. So comment your thoughts. Let me know what you think about, what are we going to do? Quinten Post, how is he getting on this roster? Do you think they should have signed Bruno? And of course, subscribe to Warriors Digest. We have all your news for you daily. Warriors World out.